G'day gang, Ed and Simo here,
Hi there.
back for another episode of the Fastline Track Growth Show, where Ed and I talk about all things karting and business.
Cool.
Do you know, I've lost track of how many episodes it is. I think it's number 18.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's grown up. It's getting quite mature.
So last week we talked about 5 of the 10 pricing mistakes businesses make. So the first one was using textbook formulas and industry norms,
Yeah.
or other standard measures. Number 2 was excess concerns about their competitors' pricing.
Sure.
What was number 3?
Be careful about attracting customers by price.
Cool.
Not a smart move.
4?
Lots of people have a predetermined belief about what customers will actually pay or how much they'll spend with you.
Yeah. 5?
Allowing people to make the apples for apples comparison. It shouldn't be immediately obvious to somebody that they can just compare your go-kart track with, I was going to say another go-kart track, but that happens rarely because they're not your competition. But they shouldn't be able to make an immediate judgment on whether they go to the cinema or the go-kart track. There should be obvious value and reasons to come along to your track, so then you avoid that price comparison.
Right. So now we're going to move into the next 5.
Yeah, we're going to dive into the 6th.
6 to
Point.
6 to 10. Not offering a premium offer.
Just a big mistake.
Yeah.
There's money on the table if you haven't got premium offerings. I don't know how much I'd have paid to go and get hold of that go-kart track for an hour for ourselves. That could have been really fun. Now, if it was just, we can give you the space for an hour and it'll be to yourself and you'll just race as you normally do, that's okay, that's interesting. But if it was, hey, we'll give that whole space to yourself, we'll play the music you want, we'll have video screens up doing bits and pieces, you can get details of your customers flashing across all the screens, we'll have proper ceremony, we'll do everything absolutely right, there'll be something that you really remember and that they're going to love, but that'll cost you double. Then I'd have probably been tempted. It's that one premium option. You almost want something that's so special that only one person will ever buy it off you.
Yeah.
If that one person turns up, it'll work really well.
And that track you took your customers to, karting, you don't remember the name of it, do you?
I don't know. I know where it is, but I don't know because you've asked me, haven't you? And I was like, oh, and I told you where it was, and you went, I know who they are. But I think because they're probably buying products from you. And I was just like, I can't. And you told me the name.
It's my world, you know. I remember these things.
Yeah, but I visited. I've been there.
I was actually invited.
I've been there, spent money with them, walked around, spoken to their staff, and I still can't remember the name of the track. They have done nothing to ingratiate themselves with me, which is it's a shame really, because it's a pretty decent day out, or a couple of hours out, or whatever it was.
No.
But I'll give you another quick example of where this could lead. I was looking after a beauty salon. As you can see, they did a lot of work on me. No, but the beautician there, she was going, I've got these clients, they're all wealthy and they just want more and more better service, and off it went, and we were doing all different packages and all sorts. They worked very, very well. But there was just one lady, and she said, there's this one lady who always asks for more. I went, great. I said, so what we'll do is, and I can't remember the whole package, but the gist of it was, she got picked up in a Rolls Royce, chauffeur, champagne in the seat. For her and, I can't remember, it was like 3 friends or something could go in the Rolls Royce with her. Be chauffeur driven to the salon, have some work done, and then driven to the races with disposal of the car for the rest of the day. Do you know, I've never told you this story.
No, that's a cool idea.
So the average sort of spend on like beauty treatments there was something like, it was about £110 a visit. I can't quite remember the pricing on it, but I think it was about £1,200 or £1,500 a month that she paid. And once a month, her and 3 of her friends got into the Rolls Royce, picked it up, driven around everything. Now you can hire a Rolls Royce for the day for, I think it was like £450 with a chauffeur. Champagne cost 20-30.
How many people do you think she told? She
Oh, yeah.
She would have bragged about that. Oh, my beautician picks me up in the rolls.
Yeah,
and, you know, feeds me champagne and then takes me to the races.
Well, interestingly, her three friends are also very moneyed. So they started coming to the salon. I think one of them, I can't quite remember, but I'm sure one of them also had that package. But the other two were amongst her highest paying. So it attracted so much wealth into that company. So it was £3,000 a month coming in off 2 clients. And all they had to do was send a Rolls Royce out for 2 days a month. And they just hired that off a local company. It was absolutely fantastic. We used to tie it into things like they used to go to the races and stuff. So we'd tie it in for a day at the races, pull up in the Rolls Royce.
That would make them feel wonderful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've forgotten that story until right now. You'd be amazed where you can take these things.
Yeah. What's number 7?
7, not increasing your prices when it's easy to do so is a huge mistake in business.
Yeah. Now, and we're filming this in 2020. We've just come out of the...
Well, we're filming 2021, but we've lost a year.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have lost a year. At this point in time, everybody's hiking their prices.
Yep.
So it would be a mistake not to increase your prices because basically all the costs of running a go-kart centre are going up. Petrol, parts, metals, gloves, balaclavas.
There's a background story, isn't there, that inflation's coming into play again after 6 or 7 or maybe a few more very flat years. So people are realising that costs are going up as we speak. So people will be expecting a price rise. So if you do rise your prices, they're not going to sort of like be completely shocked. No. You may get the odd one that complains at the go-kart track. They're typically price-driven, not always, but typically. And we already know that price-driven customers are the ones who are going to soak your times up. So put your prices up. There's a great opportunity there currently and a genuine reason for doing so. Other times you might be at your busiest moments. So let's use some of the economics that you learnt back in university. Demand is extremely high. You don't have to keep the same supply price. You can put your prices up.
I've got a customer down under that has just modified his pricing structure. Yeah. So it is more expensive at the peak times and lower priced the quieter times.
That could work really well to fill up vacant track space, but equally, I bet he's still. I wish he was here to ask the question. You may know, but I bet you he's still at the same capacity he was before he put his prices up. Be an interesting question.
Yeah, I think he is. It won't
have made a difference.
No.
I still think if I was going to a go-kart track regularly and the price went up, like £2, £3, £4. Like that's pretty much 10% in some instances. I wouldn't. It would make no difference to me whatsoever. If you're talking £3 or £4 here and there, it's neither here nor there.
A 10% price increase in a arrive and drive race is probably around £3.50 increase.
I'm not going to notice. No. Even if there's a handful of us, it's not even.
Can you buy a beer for £3.50 at the moment?
No, I don't know where.
Yeah. Oh well. Number 8. Ignorance of business maths.
Oh, painful. How many times have I sat down with clients and we've looked at, it tends to be more complex businesses where there's lots of stuff going on, and you sit down and you start to really analyse what it costs to deliver a product or a service in one part of the business. And when you break down the costs and look at everything and factor in a few invoicing costs and overheads and bits and pieces, you suddenly realise that you're not actually making very much of a profit. In fact, you're making a loss. I find this most often in engineering companies. Maybe very good at prototyping and things like that, where they make a lot of money because the cost, it's a very simple linear process. And then you go in and the machinery's running like 24/7 and they've got a twilight shift and there's some guy that turns up at midnight and keeps the thing rolling. And you sit down with them and you go, let's just go and have a look at this and this wonderful thing that has built the company. You realise they haven't put the prices up for like 100 years, still paying 2 and 6, and there's some guy with a quill pen working it all out. And when you sit down and look at the prices, you're like, you do realise that it costs you money just to have those machines running. And that is so common. Just ignorance on business maths.
Yeah.
It takes a good accountant to spot that, by the way. Quite often. business owners, they may have a feel for it, or there might be sentimental reasons, but typically you need a good bookkeeper or an accountant who understands your business, who looks at it and understands what's going through the machinery in that instance to work out what's happening at the other end.
Yeah.
There's possibility that some areas of your track just aren't as profitable as you think they are. Oh.
Number 9, poor self-esteem or business esteem.
Yeah. I have this saying, and I'm the only one who says it, but you have to grow into your own skin.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you present yourself in a certain way, but some people fake it till they make it.
Mm.
And I think as soon as they step into their own skin and become the person that is, we are a major centre for attracting people to come out at a weekend or whatever and enjoy an hour or 2 hours with their friends doing go-karting. Once you embrace that, and you've got the self-esteem and the business esteem to believe that is it's a really sensible thing for people to do, and actually here is the best place, that there should be nowhere else around us for 20, 30 miles. They should be here on a Saturday evening because they will absolutely love it. Then all of a sudden price becomes a secondary factor.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because as you were talking about that, I was just thinking about the customers I talk to. And the ones that run successful tracks, they have something different about them. They are very confident.
Yeah.
They speak confidently.
Yeah.
And then you've got others that I know are running tough, and they're more mild and mannered and meek. It's quite true.
Yeah, once you have a belief that you've got something that people will come and pay decent money for and enjoy, and you get in the feedback that maybe tells you to help you, your beliefs around that, and you start to fill that gap and fill into that space where you become that person. And somebody rings up and asks, "Can I get a session booked on Saturday?" Hey, it's the difference between going, "Yes, would that be all right?" or "Yes, you've come to the right place, we'll look after you, let's just check what times we've got available. Look, we can't do the time you're doing that, but we've got a great slot here at 7 p.m. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Who's in your group?" And just talking more confidently, price suddenly slips to the side as the customer starts to believe as well that this is...
You've almost got to have a belief in yourself,
Yep.
a belief in your company,
Yep.
a belief in your product you're selling, and a belief that the customer is better off spending their money with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's our mate Jeffrey Gittimer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that book for a while. Big fans of Gittimer.
And we're up to number 10 now.
10, here we go. It's gone quickly.
Yeah.
Discounts and free. You've got to be really careful. They can be massively powerful, but oh boy, can it backfire.
Now, I remember something being said that once you give someone a discount, they expect that discount every time. But once you give someone something for free, they don't always expect that every time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right. And because if you have something for free and there's value to it, people understand that there's a cost and that it can't go on forever. If you offer a discount, I think people think, they're making some margin. I bet they're making mega bucks. They're always doing really well. Look at the car he drives. It's all those. Look at all the land he owns. Look at all the karts he owns. He's got money. And they don't actually realise, because most people haven't run their own business, that actually you might be on very tight margins. But because they're thinking that you've got lots of money, you've just given them that discount.
Yeah, you can do it every time.
Yeah. Now, if you give them a reason for the discount, and it's time sensitive, then they'll appreciate that there's only a time limit to it, so that'll allow you then to manoeuvre. So when you're offering a discount or something free, it's the back end that'll make or break this. So if you're offering free, you've made no money. I know that's obvious, but I just thought I'd say it out loud, because there'll be some people going, yeah, of course. So what is the mechanism from offering a free product or service to getting them to become, or a large number of them, to becoming paying customers and very happy customers to move forward, so that free offering pays for itself? It's a marketing piece that just needs to be looked at beyond how many people you get down to somewhere for free. It's what happens on the back end. And discounts, if they're time sensitive, that's a really cool way to deal with it. But the discounts as well, it needs a lot of thought to make sure that the customer understands that there's a value to that, and that actually it's like next time you come in, it's going to be at a higher price. So discounts will work. Offers, it will get people down to your tracks, it will get people involved, it might reach out to people that wouldn't have thought of doing it before, so extremely powerful for all types of things like that. But oh boy, if you don't get that back end sorted, it's going to backfire.
There you have it. 10 common pricing failures that most businesses make.
Yeah, and if you are making those mistakes, you are pricing yourself poor. Whereas if you just go and take on board what we've been talking about today, there's definitely a very quick way to, and it does work very quickly, to price yourself rich again. So I hope that has helped.
Yeah. It's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Ciao.
Until next time.